Who's ready to start the day? Steve T-Rex, 44 degrees, just past 8 a.m. That's pretty much warmer than it was most of the day yesterday. Let's go out the door. Come on, Steve. Fascinating weather yesterday. Technically, it was called warm air advection, but it did not get very warm. Most of the day was in the low 40s. When you get high pressure that goes off to your north, a huge difference than when high pressure goes off to your south. It's called cold air damming. The dense, colder air propelled by air moving from high pressure that yesterday was way up in northern Quebec down from the north and east into New England at low levels of the atmosphere. And because we have this mountain chain, the Appalachian mountain chain that runs from Georgia to Maine, on the east side of these mountains, it's very difficult to dislodge the low-level cold air. The mountains act like a dam, and that's why we call it cold air damming. And when warm air goes over the top of the cold, it cools and condenses, and you're stuck with low clouds, fog, and drizzle right near the boundary with the warmer air off to the south. And boy, was it warmer yesterday over Virginia. It was in the 80s. The sun came out in Connecticut, made it to the 50s, but from here near Boston and points north, it stayed cold. Cold enough for a couple of inches of snow. Looks like the most snow was in the northeast kingdom of Vermont, where this morning, our professional Smith snowboarder, Sean Vecchione, did a little hiking. Very liberal with the policies at Jay. No, that's not all natural snow.
It's sick.
Jay picked up about 2 inches of snow, but the guns have come on. I'm not going to talk too much about that. The policies at different mountains. Anyhow, so it was wintry weather yesterday, even though technically it was called warm air advection. Now technically, this is cold air advection, so it's getting colder up in the sky. But the day after one of these cold air damming events, it actually gets warmer near Boston because the wind comes in from the west and mixes out that low-level chill. The top of Mount Washington yesterday was well up into the 20s, this morning back down into the teens. You look at the surface map, it's just low pressure all around us. Low north, low west, low east, low south. You look right over Virginia, though, there's a high there, and it's raining and snowing in the higher elevations of West Virginia this morning underneath a lone high-pressure system. Weather can be hard. So a high off to our south means today is going to be a little bit warmer of a day. But all these lows are very weak, and they're going to consolidate into sort of one or two cold fronts that pass by today. So we're going to have a very interesting time lapse of our sky again today as colder air fills the sky, and you get some clouds and some scattered showers of snow, I think, in northern New England this afternoon, maybe even a snow squall. There's a pretty good chill coming at us, and low pressure is going to be intensifying off to our east as it moves away. High pressure, and it's a real strong and cold high coming into the Great Lakes states. So what that means for me is our first freeze. We've had so many first snows, not me, so many first frosts, not me, but my first freeze is going to come before my first frost or my first snow. So today is the last day, maybe tomorrow, depending on what I'm doing, for my garden hose, which I used hardly at all season long. I just watered my tomatoes and plants just a couple times. We only had a couple of weeks where it didn't rain at all. So there's the dill. The dill's going to seed, and that's my, harbinger of when is it going to freeze. As soon as it freezes, those dill will be done. All the dill seeds planted for next year, though. And I water the compost pile to help the organic matter break down a little bit more readily. Sunlight and water make life. CO2 and produces food. Well, food for worms, and then worms turn those leaves into that nice black soil. Anyhow, you know that whole story. So my point is, it's time to drain the garden hoses and take my last outdoor shower. over there, hiding right over there, there's an outdoor shower in plain sight. And I took one last night, and it was only 42 degrees. I'll take one tonight, maybe tomorrow night. But Sunday morning, Monday morning, hard freeze in Boston, thanks to incoming high pressure. Now, very interesting developments kind of in the longer range forecasts here. Talked about the warm up for next week, and it looks like a lot of the nation is warming up. But, talk about more surprises, and it's never boring. On Monday, we're watching a pretty good low come out of southeastern Canada. Now, that's low pressure to our north, so that's going to be warming us up on Monday. But up in the sky, it's cold enough for snow. And down on the ground, it's going to be marginal. So we may have some pretty hefty showers of snow north and snow or rain south coming in Monday afternoon, Monday night into Tuesday morning as another blast of cold air advection comes at us from Canada, while most of the rest of the nation warms up. That's Monday, Tuesday, so that's kind of looking interesting. And then Wednesday, that high pressure system does look like it gets off to the south. Now, on the south side of that high, it looks like we're going to have force bunching energy piling up in the Gulf of Mexico for sort of a, I don't know whether you want to call it an early season nor'easter or a late season sort of subtropical low in the Gulf of Mexico. But that looks like a huge item for the southern states next week, and that probably misses us off to the south, but that should be interesting. Well, initially it does, but I think it's going to linger. And at the same time that our warmer air is trying to come in next, say, Thursday, Friday, maybe push 60 around here, there's going to be another cold front coming at us from Canada. And again, here in the Northeast, it looks like colder air wants to come down, and some of that moisture from the south comes up, and we may end up with a little sort of pseudo nor'easter here next Friday or Saturday. So that kind of blunts that big warm up that everyone's been talking about, with colder air coming in again next weekend. Got this cryptic email from Stowe yesterday. Join us for opening day. Got me all excited. I opened the email. Nothing about when opening day is. I think the rumor mill has next Friday, November 17th. I don't know why they just can't say that. I mean, there's plenty cold coming in, so they have plenty of time to make snow and groom it out. I don't know. Maybe they don't want to open on a rainy day if it rains that day. I don't know. Maybe somebody in Colorado's not talking to somebody in Vermont. I don't know, you know. Anyhow, there's another ski show in town this weekend. Yesterday it started. Today it's going. It's called the Country Snow Expo, Country Ski Expo. I can't keep track of all these different names. Ever since snowboarders came along, we don't know whether to call it skiing or snow riding or whatever. Anyhow, there's a big sale. There's food trucks. There's bands. Ski resorts are there. Whaleback Don sent us an image of his tent on Twitter last night. It's in Hanover, Massachusetts, which isn't that far from me. Probably easier driving than going to Boston. Free parking, food trucks, sales. I think I need some goggles and a helmet. I always need to renew that stuff. So maybe see you there today or this weekend. Yesterday, some interesting vessels going by. One of the world's leading underwater research. I don't know what you call it. Robotics. Right there. Bluefin Robotics headquarters just up the river here, and they always send out these submersibles on these charter boats. One of them went by yesterday, got me kind of all excited, that big orange thing on the back there. And then we had a tanker come in, so I'll call the play-by-play on the tanker coming in and lamenting on the cold gray day yesterday. Certainly has been interesting for what everyone said last week was going to be boring this week. It has been anything but boring and rather unpredictable, as predicted here. Next week is starting to look a little unpredictable too, with action coming in on Monday night and Tuesday, and again late in the week. And the first freeze, and every time you get a freeze, usually it's going to be followed by a warm-up. That's how everything works. Everything goes in waves, right? And a circle through time is a big wave, and that's all we're doing, is circling through time. What is time? Steve, do you know what is time? Not what time it is. What is time? T-I-M with an E. What do you see? Oh yeah, the rain gauge. Sorry. Let's go look at the rain gauge. See, Rose is trying. Let's see, we had a 0.04 when I emptied it yesterday, and then a kind of drizzly, rainy day. and a 0.1. All right, 0.1. And we get the thermometer. It's 44 degrees. We may see some sun today. Talk to you later. One more thing I wanted to mention. A historic storm yesterday, southern Alaska, a record low barometer, well, lowest in a long time, and a couple of feet of snow, which is unusual for Anchorage, where there's a ski area there called Hilltop with almost 300 vertical, and our friend from Crotched, Ross Budd, is there. So a little snippet from Anchorage, Alaska, too. Weather is never boring. It's always fun. Hey, Dennis, what's going on? We just finished taping today's Out the Door. I haven't even really edited it, but it's 8 o'clock, and that's when I'm supposed to measure my rain. 24-hour ending. 0.0605, really. And so even though most of it's happening right now, part of it's going to go into today's data, and the other part's going to go into tomorrow's data. What day is it today? I don't know. Is this in the N more? If it's in the N more, then it's yesterday. And we'll see if there's any more rain in the gauge. 8 o'clock right now. A lot of people, Johnny in Boston, Andrew in Duxbury, both reporting sleet. If there was sleet, I would be able to hear it or see it. No sleet for TK, but another half hour to go. We'll see. 10:30. Quite a bit of convection going on. Pop-up showers. And there's even been some sleet north of Boston again, and some thunder. Peter in Cape Ann says thunder, 10:30. So it's a vigorous boundary between the record warm south and the cold that's been in place in New England. Cold's gonna win out around here for a while. Yeah, it's cold, but we have not had a freeze or even a frost here in Weymouth yet. And our roses are still looking pretty good. A lot of nice hollyberry too. Hollyberry will be coming inside to decorate for the season. Brisk. 40 degrees, 11 o'clock. Not much wind down near the ground. Maybe light from the north. There's a boundary right over us. And there's been convection firing. On a cold day, thunderstorms just to our north a short time ago. Light, steady rain here, falling pretty much straight down. We get a tanker incoming. How about some time lapse? We love the time lapse. Turquoise chemical oil products tanker. Flag, Marshall Islands. Length, 183 meters, 600 feet. Departed Milford Haven, United Kingdom, October 24. Got into Boston November 7, 2 days ago. Now coming into Quincy. Tugboats, Justice and Independence. Justice built in 2009 by the J.M. Martinek Shipbuilding Corporation of Tacoma, Washington. As the Justice for Boston Towing and Transportation Company of Boston, Massachusetts, a subsidiary of Reinauer, R-E-I-N-A-U-E-R, Transportation Companies of Staten Island, New York. Designed by naval architect Robert Allen of Vancouver, British Columbia. She is RAM Parts 3000 class tug with a sponson type variation on the original design. I'm gonna have to learn more about these tugs. So fun. Yeah, that's how I'm learning. I just brought my computer right out here. All right, let's let it go over to the Four River Bridge. Four River Bridge going up. Total elapsed time, about 12 minutes since I first put turquoise into the viewfinder. Looking over at Germantown and Quincy as the 600-foot tanker goes underneath the Four River Bridge, which is stopping traffic on Route 3A right now, no doubt. Happy to watch it from here. 43 degrees. I said it was 40 before. Steady drizzle on a not boring weather week. Chance next week is boring. Chance.